Josh here, and this is my review of HBO's adaptation of the Sookie Stackhouse novels. Particularly, for season 1 is the first novel, Untl Dark. This show is true blood, and this has been garnering a lot of popularity of late. I finally decided to check it out. This is a different part, or this is part 2, I guess, of my Sookie Stackhouse coverage. I have reviewed the first novel. I'm not really going to give away the plot because you can easily find it online. Suffice to say, just look it up on IMDb or Wikipedia. You'll get just as much info there. But what I wanted to give is my opinion on the TV show itself. Frankly, I got a huge gift card and splurged to buy the first season. Really expensive. I mean, for just a single season of TV, 12 episodes, $68. But overall, I do want to say it was totally worth it because, frankly, this is quality TV. Outside of the first 2 episodes, which I think overdose a little on the sexual aspect of it, I think it definitely evens out, and the plotlines just get better as the season progresses. I do have a few gripes, but I'll get to those later. Overall, this is definitely something if you should watch, so if you have ADD, just stop the video now and go get it or watch it. But if not, let's delve into it a little further. Now, basically, I'm not going to go over the synopsis, because like I said, you can easily find it. I'm just going to analyze mainly the differences and the positives and negatives that this series does have as an adaptation and as a TV show itself. So, derive from that with what you will. Go back to my book review. I'll link to it in the video, in the sidebar, I guess. If not, have fun watching this. So, True Blood, it does stick to the novel of Untl Dark quite well. It does follow all the key plot points, but adds a lot of subplots to the story, which some don't work quite as well as others, but at the same time, the show, all of them progress simultaneously, so you're never bored for too long. And the ones that do work really, really work, and definitely enhance the main storyline because they connect into it, bolster the themes, and just really increase your enjoyment of the show. Particularly, there was much more of vampiric society in this than there was in the book, and I realized the book just couldn't do it because of length, but go to my book review for more on that. And I did appreciate the expanded backstories of the characters, particularly of the lead characters, and I did think that most of the new characters that they've added, or the characters that they've expanded that were just barely into the first novel, really kind of work. Jason Stackhouse, Sookie's sister, who is deeply involved with the main plot, gets his own plotline throughout the season, and I don't think the beginnings of his plot were good, but I do think where they ended up, it was definitely a good plotline, and I really look forward to seeing him in Season 2 because they have brought him to a point at the end of Season 1 that will become very interesting and bolster the second book's already improved storyline from the first. Now, elsewise, they have added a character named Tara, who I realize is in the second novel, but she's not in the first one at all, as to if I can remember. And her plotline is somewhat stereotypical, lest I say, but at the same time, I really like her character, and she interacts a lot more with Sam, which gives us more backstory on him even with that. She is definitely the catalyst for a lot of events in the show that were otherwise related to things otherwise in the book, and I think this is more organic, more realistic, and much more interesting. As well, her plotline with her mother. I didn't like her mother at all, frankly, as a character. The good actor, but I just couldn't stand the person. But, much like Jason, it really does play out more in the end, and really gets her to a really interesting point at the end of the season. It makes me want to see Season 2 quite a bit. Overall, I did like True Blood much better than the first book because I did have time to, as I said in my book review, linger longer on events in the book, giving them much more impact. Even though Sookie is just as bipolar as she is in the book, she seems feels a little better in this one because there's more time in between evasive mood swings. Also, needed to mention Anna Paquin's portrayal of Sookie Stackhouse. Absolutely fantastic, and the main male actor playing Bill Compton, the vampire, her main love interest. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he does a fantastic job. No one really fucks up the accent, which is something I really get annoyed at, and that was greatly appreciated. The southern flavor of the novel is bolstered quite a bit here, and particularly if you haven't read my book review, I think the southern flavor is what is mainly my attraction to this series, frankly, because it's just very very exciting, actually. There's not too many things set in the South that portray it in a somewhat realistic fashion. I know, realistic, honestly. If this vampire show is the most realistic thing, you gotta be worried, but regardless, I think the Southern culture played in a lot more in the TV show, and I really liked that. There was more domestication of vampire issues, particularly they have True Blood ads on TV, and I thought that Season 1 did a really good job of setting up plot lines for Season 2. Even from the very first episode, they're already telegraphing things that I know are going to happen because I have read ahead in the book series. And Season 2 would be Book 2. I'm on Book 3 at the moment. So, overall, Season 1, fantastic. Do have some gripes that I must bring up because they are kind of big gripes. One, and this is kind of a spoiler, I'll go for 20 seconds starting now, so just stop the video. The spoiler is that I think Jason Stackhouse the whole penile enlargement thing with V was just absolutely freaking ridiculous, and I hated it with a passion. I wish they could have excised that. Now, since we're out of spoiler territory, I should probably get on with it and say that I think the final episode of Season 1, don't worry, this isn't a spoiler, focused a little too much on making you excited for Season 2 than it should have. I don't think that they... I said, one of the pros of this show was that it had time to linger on things, and I appreciated that. And I don't think the final episode really adheres by that. A lot of the beginning of Book 2 is put near on the final episode, which just seems silly because, frankly, I could have used a better wrap-up. Now, it is somewhat of a... I want to say it's a minor gripe, but it really upset me because it kind of put somewhat of a kibosh on my excitement. But at the same time, I can understand the need for it, and I guess it did its job. I'm still going to watch Season 2. Definitely going to pick it up when it comes out on DVD this May? July? We'll see. Anyway. Overall, Season 1 is a fantastic TV. It can get a little too sexual at times, particularly in the first couple episodes. But overall, kind of not what I expected, frankly. And I mean that in the best possible way. Even though people say they're getting tired of vampires, if they can keep coming up with original ways to insert vampires into things, you know what? You just keep running with it. Until that time, I will enjoy all of the stuff that's there, all the stuff that's currently out. Hope they can make something new. I hope you go check out True Blood. Keep in mind what I said for the first couple episodes, but otherwise, this is really enjoyable, even if you don't like horror. There's lots of romance, there's some action, cool mythology, good characters, hilarious sense of humor, even if it is mostly taken from the book. Really good acting. It's pretty fun. It's not the best show, and it's certainly not the most intellectual, but as far as entertaining TV goes, you'd be hard-pressed to do much better.